One of the reasons why I talk about art and architecture so much is because it's a subject where pretty much anyone should be able to tell that something is wrong with the way things are going today. Like if you walk into a museum and you look at all the beautiful paintings from previous centuries and beautiful sculptures, and then you go into the present day section and you're like, what the fuck? It's like the average IQ level of the artist dropped by like 20 points just going into that one room. It's like you entered a kindergarten classroom with pictures of the children's scribblings on the walls. Like, I don't really know what to say. Like, if there's anywhere where the contrast showing the decline of Western civilization is more apparent, I cannot think of it. Like, an art museum is pretty much the perfect red pilling opportunity. You know, take somebody, take some fucking on the fence, blue pilled, whatever the fuck, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Take a person like that to an art museum. And if they haven't been at least somewhat red pilled on the subject of art in particular, by seeing the contrast between the older art and the newer art, then I just don't know what can be done for them. I guess that's a pretty good litmus test, I think, of someone whether someone's a totally hopeless case or not. Because I think if you can't see what's in front of your very eyes, then you're just blind. And yeah, of course, there's some subjectivity. Some people might say that, let's say, 19th century impressionist art is superior to more realist forms of art in previous decades. Absolutely, but 20th 21st century art is complete shit. I mean, I understand there's some merit to be had for a certain degree of surrealism like Salvador Dali or Claude Monet, but no, what we have today is absolute fucking crap. So I mean, I'm sorry, if they can't see that this art is crap, then I think they're hopeless. I think that's a good sign that somebody is completely hopeless, nothing can be done for them. And I know someone could say, oh, that's a totally unrelated opinion. What does taste in art have to do with politics? It has everything to do with politics because what this art represents is basically nothingness and ugliness, a celebration of ugliness, a celebration of mediocrity, the idea anyone can be an artist because this shit requires no skill. And it's literally, it's blatantly in your face nihilistic. Like the message is life doesn't matter, so here's a picture of fucking paint being scribbled in random colors all over canvas. It's nihilistic. It's like this is the randomness of the universe, the nothingness of life. Fuck it, let's blow our brains out. Let's fucking overdose on heroin. We might as well because this is the kind of art around us and it's a meaningless world and beauty doesn't matter. There's no such thing as beauty. Fuck it, blow your brains out. Inject to fucking 10 grams of heroin or whatever amount would kill you. Just fucking kill yourself. That's basically the message that this art is sending. And it's the same with architecture. Although with architecture, you could argue it's a slightly bit more subjective because in architecture, the question of functionality comes into it too. Like, for instance, we did have a big population explosion during the 20th century, and there was a need to sort of rebuild cities really fast after the war. I still don't justify it. I think it was a horrendous atrocity to fail so epically with aesthetics in the 20th century, but at least there's the argument, okay, it was just laziness, it was just cutting corners. But art is about trying to be beautiful. So there's literally no argument. In terms of architecture, I still think it's disgusting, but okay, let me put it this way. It would make sense if someone said not every building has to be beautiful. I'd agree with that, but at the same time, also with architecture, there's a lot of buildings that are actually quite expensive but ugly. That's why I point to the addition to the Royal Ontario Museum as a prime example of that sort of thing. They're doing the same thing to a building called One Spadina Crescent at the University of Toronto as well. So that's why I think, architecture and art, that's a very basic way of telling, because I think people who like modern art, modern architecture are basically conformists who will like anything that's new simply because it's new, because it's trendy, and because it's supposed to be what you're supposed to like right now. It's the conformist opinion to hold. And also some of these people who think, oh, change for the sake of change is good. Oh, it's good because it's different from artwork before. Yeah, well, you know what? Number one, being different does not make something inherently good. That's stupid. That's just as stupid as saying that being old inherently makes something good. or staying the same inherently makes something good. That's a stupid, insane pretext to have in the first place. Like the idea of change for the sake of change is innately good. That's bullshit. Number two, really, we've had this kind of crappy art for like almost 100 years now. Maybe it's time for something different. Maybe it's time for some actual substance by now. So if they actually believe that we need to change things up now and then, well, now would be a good time to change things up. I think this, this crappy nihilist, minimalist, ugly shtick is getting kind of old. We need something new now. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of arguments that can be used against this. I think people will say all day art is subjective. No, it's not. Art is political. Art is objective. This is a weapon in cultural Marxism, and it's a very easy thing to deconstruct and to point out just how fucked up it is.